They kissed, darling.
He's ready for you now, Doctor.
Let's open them up. Scalpel. You looking at me, Dino?
We're losing adrenaline now.
You'll never amount to anything, Pirate.
Everybody clear! You scum!
We've lost him.
Now, Christmas is quite literally around the corner, and the cheeky sport little brats amongst you may well be getting big shiny new PCs. Of course, that's where the problem begins, because the instruction manuals that come with them are the most difficult things to understand since the 1885 All England Difficult to Understand Championships. That's why we've called today's event PC Impossible.
I know most of our viewers are well below average intelligence, but even so, I'm amazed by the number of queries I receive from hapless PC owners driven to distraction by their failure to get games working on their machines. Many of them blame the machine or the manuals. So I decided to put it to the test by calling on our celebrities to set up a brand new PC and get a game running on it by the end of the show. Frankly, if they can't do it with their celebrated intellect, what hope is there for our moronic viewers?
Now, normally we don't like to run the risk of testing celebrities' intellect and problem-solving abilities. Today, though, we are going to make an exception, so please welcome two of the country's smarter soap stars, Patsy Palmer and Dean Gaffney. Patsy. Now, Dean, your character in EastEnders, Robbie, basically bad lad, bit of a delinquent. Does that lead to any problems for you in the real world?
It can do when I'm out and about with my friends. People think I'm the real Robbie and they lock up everything in sight, really. Yeah, lock up their doors.
Do you think you're trying to nick stuff from shops at all?
I went into, I go to a couple of shops around my area and people say, are you going to pay for that, Robbie?
And what about Wellard, the dog? Any problems with that one set, or has he got
No, he
behaved?
seems fine, yeah, he's very fun. He is actually a she.
Oh, it's a she?
It's a she,
I beg your pardon, I've never actually looked that closely, actually. We haven't had that particular camera angle on EastEnders yet. Patsy, I've never made any secret of the fact I find you ravishingly attractive. I quite fancy you. Do you find that you get a lot of blokes hitting on you? Perhaps not in quite such a charming way as myself, but
no,
generally.
not really.
Why not?
Don't know.
Do you wear that dress when you go out? I like it.
Sometimes.
It's nice. How many curtains did it take to put that one together there? And finally for you, Patsy, you have been involved with many blokes in EastEnders, your character.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the nicest?
David Wicks, I think.
Okay, doesn't particularly do it
Very
for me,
handsome.
but he's a very handsome bloke. And obviously this is quite an intellectually demanding challenge. You've got to get your PCs together and get the game running. Do you feel confident, Dean?
Kind of.
Uh-huh.
Kind of.
Not quite convincing me,
No, not really, no.
I don't.
And Patsy, you're not confident?
No.
At all? Okay, well, we better get cracking as soon as we can, and if you'd like to follow me down to the playing area, we'll get ready to start. The first thing our two competitors will have to do is assemble their computers. We've made it easy for them, and the computers we've given them come with the base unit and monitors already connected. They've just got to connect the mouse in here, and the keyboard in here, and plug the computer in. Hey presto, stage 1 completed, and they'll be ready to load the game, and that's where the problems will really start. Okay, so Dean and Patsy, these are your PCs, this is the game, we need you to get them all up and running. I would ask you at this point, could you put on those lovely gold earmuffs, because we will be divulging certain information throughout the show, and we wouldn't want you to hear it, because that would be cheating, and cheats never prosper. Remember that at home, kids. Okay then, if you'd like to get started then, if you can hear me under the earmuffs, 3, 2, 1, off you go. Now, from now till the end of the show then, to get the PC up and running and get Mech Warrior 2 to work. It's the top-selling PC in Britain and one of the top-selling games as well. And help me out during this and maybe lending little bits of advice to Dean and Patsy if they really do need it. There's a man who spent most of his life wrapped tightly in cables, Kirk Ewing. Kirk, What's going to be the first problem they're going to have?
Well, first problem they have, and actually they've done very well. I expected them to have some problem with the sticky tape around the boxes there, because they do use industrial strength tape in these computers. But they've done very well on that. I would say follow the instructions, use your wits, and pray to the twin gods of Intel and Bill Gates for some inspiration there.
OK, Dean's fiddling around the back here just now. He's slightly ahead at this point in time.
I can't pick this up, it's too heavy.
Kirk, would you like to step in and give Patsy a little hand there?
No problem.
As well as being a large, hairy man, Kirk is also very, very strong. The strength of 10 oxen. Thank you very much, Kirk. OK then, before Kirk Ewing exerts himself a little bit too much, we're going to leave Patsy and Dean there and take a look at today's reviews. First up, living testament that in spite of tabloid scaremongering, fighting is good for you, with Criticom on the PlayStation.
It uses the same 3D aspects that Toshinden uses, where you can roll out of the way, you can zoom in and out of the screen, not just like any old 2D beat-em-up, but it moves very sluggish indeed. The gameplay seems like you're just controlling two lumps of rock at times.
In Criticom, you get to play with 8 different characters, and the way it operates is you have to beat each character and a boss to progress through the ranks. There are 3 ranks in all. I enjoy it, and if you enjoy a good 3D beat-em-up, I think you will be impressed.
To be honest, Dave would play with a dead cat if it had the words beat-em-up written on it. I don't think Criticom is as good as Toshinden or Tekken, and for that reason alone, I wouldn't buy it.
Next up, High Octane on the Saturn. It looks like Wipeout, it tastes like Wipeout, but does it smell like poo?
High Octane is a space race extravaganza, very much in the same mould as Wipeout. It has cars of the hover variety, and it has tracks that you race around. And seeing as Wipeout isn't going to be out on the Saturn for some time, it's worth having a look at High Octane.
High Octane can be played from 4 different viewpoints, and there are 9 different tracks in all in the game. Also, unlike Wipeout, there's a 2-player split-screen mode, so you only need 1 copy of the game and 1 Saturn to play. This has got to be good news for console players.
OK, so far Patsy Palmer and Dean Gaffney are doing quite well. They've both got power on. Who actually got power on first, Kirk?
Dean actually got power on first, but after a bit of just sort of basically forcing any cable into any hole at the back, he realised that something was not happening with his keyboard, so he switched the computer off and he's restarted it again. Patsy did extremely well, seemed to get everything plugged up, but somehow Patsy hasn't made it into Windows, which is a bit of a disappointment, whereas Dean is full-on Windows heavy.
OK, this is obviously stuff that everyone goes through whenever they buy a PC. Have you yourself been through these problems?
I've been down these routes many times, and quite frankly, it's a pain in the
posterior.
Yeah.
OK, then at the moment, if we look at Patsy's awash with manuals and everything. This is the only tips we have given them for this. Of course, we've given them the manuals, but trying to understand them, of course, is an entirely different matter. So we're going to leave them cracking at this, and we're going to take a short break. Coming up, we're going to see if they're going to finally manage to get this game loaded before the end of the show. All this coming up after the break. Welcome back. We have 2 young soap stars with us today, Dean Gaffney and the ravishingly attractive Patsy Palmer. They're taking part in PC Impossible, an event where they have to put a PC together and get a game to run on it before the end of the show, and they're struggling. While they struggle though, let's go over to Gamesmaster and find out what today's challenge is.
For today's challenge, I've selected the Doom-style PC shoot-'em-up, Duke Nukem. Each of our 3 contestants must make their way to the end of the level and blow up the canister they'll find there, with the player who does this in the fastest time taking the golden joystick. All is not as simple as it looks, though, as contestants must avoid not only the robot adversaries they'll encounter on the way, but also a number of lurking laser beams that will fry them instantly if they stray into their path.
And making a desperate bid for glory on Duke Nukem, we have Julian Luton, Michael Triquare and Samir Agarwal. All right, Julian. All right, Michael. All right, Samir. OK, right, a lot of people are under the misapprehension that people who play video games don't have girlfriends. Of course, I've got a fantastic amount. And Julian, you've got a girlfriend as well, yeah?
Almost.
Almost?
She's in China.
Right, so how long has she been there for?
Knocking on a year.
Have you been over there to see her?
No. Written a few letters, yeah.
How many?
4.
4 letters in a year?
Yeah.
I reckon you're going to split up, actually, when she comes back.
Oh, thanks, Dominic.
That's all right. I try to, like, settle the contestants before they play. Because you've actually been dumped, haven't you, Michael, by your girlfriend?
Thanks for reminding me about that.
Yeah, why was that?
Well, I went out with my mates and told her I was staying in and watching Emmerdale Farm. And she was in the club I was in and she weren't too happy.
So she dumped you?
Yeah.
Because you're watching Emmerdale Farm, probably. Yeah. And finally, Samir, you don't have a girlfriend at all. Which is surprising, because you're quite a fantastically dressed young man, I have to say. What do you look for in a woman then, Samir?
Anything.
Anything at all? A man after my own kind of thinking. Okay, right, Michael, you're going to go first, because we suspect you might be rubbish at this, actually. So while we make that Michael's bum and challenger seat connection, we'll keep abreast of today's news. And the biggest news of the moment is our competition, so grab a pen and paper now. Yes, to celebrate next week's Christmas special, featuring a look back over 5 series of Gamesmaster, we're giving away 5 Sony PlayStations and 5 Sega Saturns, each with the 3 biggest games on that system. The Saturns come with Virtua Fighter 2, Sega Rally, and Virtua Cop with the gun, while the PlayStations will be accompanied by Tekken, Doom, and Ridge Racer. To win one of these fantastic prizes, you'll need to enter the mind of Dominic Diamond and guess what is my favourite game of all time. To make life a bit easier for stupid people, we've hidden my #1 game amongst 5 of my general favourites. We kick off with Championship Manager 2. Is this my Glasgow Celtic of games? Next up is Wipeout. I've said it was my favourite console game this year, but was I lying? Super Bomberman 3 has wasted far more of my time than is strictly healthy. Could this be my #1? You know I like women and football, but is sensible soccer the ultimate love of my life?
That's a lovely pass.
Then again, I do like a fight and I'm quite hard when I take off my glasses. Has Virtua Fighter beaten up the rest of them to become numero uno? We'll pick 10 people at random who guessed my favourite game and they'll win either a PlayStation or a Saturn with 3 games. To enter the competition, simply call 0891 114400 and follow the instructions. Calls will cost you no more than 39p, but you've got to get permission from the bloke who pays the bill. The competition closes at midnight tonight and the answers and winners will be announced in a couple of weeks. In case you're thick, we'll give you the number again at the end of the show.